there, Mr. Marlowe. How is this playing out? Is this the biggest crisis in a way that the royal family has faced? A real loss of credibility and face?
Since 1647, so that's certainly before my time, when King Charles I was arrested. And before that, it was Elizabeth who had her sister Mary arrested. And that was way back in 1554. So now we're dealing with something brand new in 2026, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. And it's a huge, astonishing fall from grace. He was arrested at just after 8 a.m. local time here in London on the Sandringham estate, which is just west of the city of London. Police came to his property, or at least the property that King Charles has given him temporarily, because, of course, he was stripped of all of his different ranks and different titles, and even of his property. He was taken away by police. He was given a chair. He was given access to a toilet. His fingerprints were taken. And as we understand, he is still being questioned right now by police. Police have 24 hours by law to hold him, ask him questions, continue their investigation, and if they do not come up with anything to charge him with, then they have to let him go. If, however, the police feel that they are close to getting some type of evidence from him, they can request an extra 4 days.
I just want to bring in also Ashish Ray at this point, because Ashish, this has been playing in the public domain in Britain and across the world for a long time. Prince Andrew's already been stripped of his royal title and some of his royal entitlements. Why now? What has happened suddenly? Now there's talk. The misconduct charge was there for the longest time. Now it's being spoken of in a way that has led to his arrest. What has suddenly changed?
Well, you're right, Rajdeep, that it's been a long time coming, because the story first broke in 2010. And thereafter, there have been many allegations. There have been stories floating around. And at the end of the day, what has happened is this. This is not so much a sex story. It is about Mountbatten-Windsor sharing sensitive information with Jeffrey Epstein, because he was, don't forget, an ambassador for trade for Britain for a number of years. And in that capacity, he had confidential information. And therefore, this misconduct in public office is what this allegation, or at least suspicion at this moment, is all about. He can be held for up to 96 hours, by the way. But that would need permission from a magistrate for that to happen. It's a remarkable story for the brother of the head of state of Britain, of the monarch of Britain, to be arrested in this manner without the king being informed about it. It shows that the rule of law can be supreme.
I'm going to come to that point in a moment, Ashish, in the Indian context. But Mr. Marlowe, what is the general reaction you're finding among the public? Is the public fully supportive of the fact that a member of the royal family is not above the law, and therefore, in a strange way, it might even restore some of the lost credibility of the royal family?
Absolutely. Let me just clarify what it was I just said as well, and that is that police are holding him for 24 hours without any magistrate. If they do need to continue speaking with him, that's when they apply for the extra 4 days. In terms of the British reaction, indeed the international reaction, I think people are still getting around it. And United States people have been waking up on the East Coast, Mid Coast, West Coast as well, to this astonishing information. And they will also be looking to put the boot in as such to see what it is that they can do. Yes, to answer your question, it does prove that nobody is above the law except one person. There is just one person in the UK that is above the law who cannot be prosecuted, and that is the king. So when you have something like the Crown Prosecution Service that actually brings cases in a court of law with lawyers, etc., bringing them against a defendant, That is the crown in the name of the king, which is Prince Charles. So what inevitably you may have, depending upon what unfolds in the coming days and weeks, is that the king, the crown, will actually, according to the Crown Prosecution Service, let me get this right, would be actually prosecuting his own brother, who, by the way, is 66 years old today, who was born in Buckingham Palace. He was born being able, with all that privilege and that ability, surrounded by royalty, to end up in a police cell with just access to a toilet and a chair right now.
Fascinating. But, you know, Ashish, the point you made, no one is above the law. Here is the king's brother being arrested, belatedly some would say, but arrested nevertheless. And as I put out, various names across the world have lost their jobs or been forced out of jobs because of their involvement, alleged involvement with Jeffrey Epstein and the sexual offenses that were conducted. In India, on the other hand, we've seen a veil of silence. A couple of names have been mentioned for having email exchanges with Jeffrey Epstein, Hardeep Puri, the union minister, Anil Ambani, the businessman, but obviously no proof of misconduct in terms of the fact that they were not in public office in the manner that Andrew was. But do you believe it's time to rip off this veil of silence anywhere in the world? And remember, there are a number of unredacted files that are still not out that run into thousands and millions of pages.
Well, first of all, let me say this, that Jeffrey Epstein was bad news. He was not just corrupt. He was not just dealing with underaged women, but he was possibly dabbling with intelligence services. Now, I don't know Anil Ambani. I've never met him, but I've known Hardeep Puri for many, many years. And I must say, I'm very disappointed because he belongs to the elite Indian Foreign Service. He could do better because his judgment is certainly being called into question today. I expect better from Hardeep because he has been a fine diplomat during his career. Controversial at certain times, though, but nevertheless, he belongs to the elite service and he could do the right thing by setting a good example.
Okay, I've heard both of you, and I think we've heard you both loud and clear. Today, in many ways, is a historic day when someone who is right at the very top, or was at the very top of the royal family, should be arrested on his birthday in this manner.